Charlotte Pride, your Pride 2024 parade has officially begun! Coming down,
This week we're talking about one of my favorite film cliches, expired film. In our case, we have Superior 800, which expired in December of 2004. When it comes to shooting, typically the idea or concept is to overexpose by one full stop for every decade past expiration. This is intended to compensate for a loss of light sensitivity due to that degradation by essentially adjusting your metering to overcompensate and leaving that shutter open just a little bit longer. So in our case, we started 800 labeled as box speed, and then we're going to push it back 2 full stops and shoot it at 200 to compensate for 2 decades of degradation. But whatever you do, don't get the concepts of over and under exposure mixed up with the ideas of pushing and pulling your film. Remember instead that the compensation that we're doing with over and under exposure is done through adjustments in metering during the shooting portion of the process. This is as compared to the development portion of the process where we do pushing and pulling, which is a chemical process which happens after we shoot the film. They are not the same. And I think it must be said that though we can push and pull expired film, for the sake of this video and for the sake of this audience, I don't necessarily think I would recommend it. For those interested though in seeing what pushing and pulling does and want to know more or how to, I will link another video that I've done here on the channel, and that'll show you a little bit of the process and how to get started. For the sake of this video, the recommendation is to process or develop the expired film back at box speed. So for our example, we started at 800, but we backed it down to shooting it at 200 to overcompensate for the light, but we will then develop it back at 800 ISO, which again is the box speed, the intended speed of this film. Keep in mind, if we developed it back at 200 instead of box speed in this case, we would essentially be negating our compensation which we did through adjusted metering by creating a pull in chemical development. At best, our photos in this case will be darker than they should have been and probably will end up with more artifacting, more color shifting, and more base fog than they would have had we processed it back at box speed. So keep that in mind if you're going to do the development part by yourself, or make sure to notify and let your lab know that they need to be done at box speed if you're one to send them away. But that is what I have on expired film. Just keep it simple. Do the 1 decade, 1 stop rule, develop it at box speed, and you'll have decent photos and potentially some really interesting photos to check out. Expired film is one of those things that is, again, one of my favorite cliches with film photography, and it is one that the internet loves, so definitely go out and try it. If this has helped you out and if you are interested in learning more, make sure to leave me a comment down below letting me know what you're interested in, if any of this resonates with you. And don't forget on your way out to smash that like button and the subscribe, because yes, we are in fact still doing that in 2024. And as always, the usual social links are down in the description if you want to check me out there for more content or just generally daily updates or things that I might be doing. All of those things are super appreciated. Thank you so much for checking this one out, and I will see you guys, as always, in the next one.